Okay. Okay. It should be fixing itself. It should be. I'm not sure. Okay. Boom. Hi. Hello, everyone. Y'all, you know I came over here to be messy. You know I came over to be messy. CNN over here covering the trial. Yes, Don Richard is up there on the stand. Okay. Doing her thing. Doing her thing. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Let me put it on D&D. Let me put it on D&D because we're about to get messy. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Okay. I want to start off by saying that I meant everything that I said about Cassie. I don't take a word back. Shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to Oh It's Silence, Lysandra Gillard, Royal, Isaiah. Hi. I love butterflies. I like that name. Lindsay, Antoinette. Hey, y'all. Y'all just running on up in here. Rel, Tremaine, my baby. Y'all get over there and subscribe to Tremaine and Cleo. Correct. Tremaine and Cleo. Love those girls. Love those girls. To persuasive. Hey, moderator. Hi, K Ben. Hi, I love you. Um, Jazzy Joy, First Lady, Christian. This is my nightmare. This is my nightmare. Okay. Saying hello to all of you because I love y'all. I really do. But it's like a lot of y'all. Like I am really popular. Right? I don't know if I told you. But I am very popular. I have been that girl. Okay. But I love you all. Hello. So y'all, Dom Richard is up here on this stand. We'll get into that. Um, Cassie's mother is supposed to be up next. I don't know if this is Dawn's last day because they are going to cross-examine her. So this could be her last day, or she could be back tomorrow. Um, Again, speedy trial. They're trying to get it done within 6 weeks. So this is why everyone is like on it. Shout out to all of the content creators that are at the courthouse. Shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to all of y'all. I was thinking about coming, but it's so crowded. um, um, it's a little parched up there, and I'm like, so it's a lot of grows up there. So shout out to all of y'all. I feel like they got it. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. And I'm like, girl, no, actually, I'm sweeter than cake because that's how your dad likes me. That's how your daddy like me. Your daddy don't like brown sugar. Mm-mm, he like the white kind. So I have to be like really sweet, because like otherwise your pops is not gonna want me to. Um, how am I gonna swallow your siblings if I'm not like like girl, keep it up. Yeah, keep it up, and I'll spit your sister out. I'll spit your brother out. Double death, double death. Keep it up. Keep it up. And I'm like, oh, so yeah, so y'all, it is a lot going on, right? So we're gonna listen because we just are, and I'm going to give my input as I feel the need. And again, with Cassie, a lot of y'all people come in here like subscribers and whatnot, and y'all be like, "Oh, well, you should read up more, and you should do this, and you should do that." I read what I needed to read. Okay. In Cassie's lawsuit, she described Diddy as like a father, like she never wanted to date him. She was in a relationship with Ryan Leslie. She looked at him as dad. So when he started pursuing her, she found it like gross. Like when he kissed her in the limousine or like the car that they were in and whatnot for the first time and whatnot, like she looked at it as like ill. Like that's the story she described. Like she never had any interest in being with Diddy. That was her boss. She was there to work. She was trying to get that coin. She had just signed a 10-album deal. You know, that's what Cassie described. Cassie did not describe that on that stand. No, she did not. No. Cassie made it seem in a lawsuit that the SCX started when she was 19. But then on the stand, she said that the freak offs and all of that stuff started when she was 22. Okay, well, was it sex in general starting at 22 or was it at 19? Because you made it seem like it was from the jump. He pushed the pill in your mouth, all of that. That's what she said. But she didn't get on the stand and say that. So I'm confused because isn't the truth easy to remember? I guess she been through a lot, but she wrote that shit down. That should be easy. That should be easy to remember. You wrote it all down. You know, it's different when you just got to go off the mental and try to remember things, but these are things that should be solid. Cassie's lawsuit should have been on the stand because she was telling the truth in her lawsuit. It's what made prosecution interested in her in the first place. Her lawsuit. Hello? Hello? Mhm. That's what made prosecution want to work with her at all. It was the lawsuit, girl. So I'm like, but this is what she said in the lawsuit. But she's not saying this on the stand. She's on the stand. She's made it seem like she was always in love with him, that he was always pinning other women against him, that she was at times she was jealous of Kim Porter. You know, all this stuff. Why would all of that be if you never wanted to be with him in the first place? In the lawsuit, you made it seem like the day he put you in that car because he made you fake an appearance, like a birthday party or something that you were supposed to be doing, an album party, and you were with him the whole time, but you sent Ryan Leslie the flyer to make Ryan Leslie think that you were doing something for your career when you were actually just bobbing for apples for Diddy, like that. So it's like, but I'm supposed to forget all of that because people want to say in the chat Stockholm syndrome. Again, she wrote all this down. It's in black and white. How hard is it to go over what you already said? Like you already said all this stuff. So just repeat it because it's still good enough. Like this works. But her story did change on the stand. It's not the same story from the lawsuit. We could put the transcripts and the lawsuit up together, and they differ in a lot of areas. They differ. In the lawsuit, she never said about have anything about having consensual SCX with Diddy after the RAPE. She didn't. She never said a word about that. She should have. Don't just put part of the truth inside of a lawsuit. No, put the whole truth in there. Put it all. Put it all on blast. So I was very confused. Why wouldn't I be? That's why I said I was disappointed. I was let down by Cassie's testimony because it did not match her lawsuit. It didn't. And it's like, based off her lawsuit, we all believed that he R-worded her because that's where we first got the information from. Cassie's lawsuit, not her on the stand saying that he RAPED'd her. No. She put it in her lawsuit. Shouldn't it be the same story from the lawsuit? Because in the lawsuit, she never said anything about sexually engaging him consensually after the R word. She never said that. And why not? Because tell the truth. It still doesn't negate a crime. It still doesn't say that, because no means no. Even if you consented after, you still didn't consent that time. And that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't say, well, technically, he basically didn't R-word you because you consented after. No, he still did. That still happened. But we're not supposed to say anything about that. We have to look over it because the chat is diagnosing her with Stockholm syndrome. What does that have to do with anything? We are all different. We all go through things differently. So how I grieve, you may not grieve. How I'm happy, you may not be happy. How I'm depressed, you may not be depressed. But since there's a label, let's just throw this label on this person so that we can excuse their bad behavior. I'm not doing that. That's called being biased. I'm not going to be biased because I see things that I don't approve of. If I can call it out with Diddy, I should be able to call it out with Cassie too. She's not special. She is a victim. And it's that simple. That's it. Cassie did a test to the majority of the freak offs that she did, she wanted to do. But then it clearly got to a point where Cassie didn't want to do it anymore. Hotel video. She said that was after a freak off, like she was leaving a freak off. And he did what he did to her and drug her basically back to continue. Right? Now that's wrong. That should not have happened. It shouldn't. But what also shouldn't happen is after that situation, you be consenting to do this all over again. That shouldn't have happened either. But because since people want to diagnose her with Stockholm syndrome, we have to overlook that. Because with DV, yeah, with DV, 100%. But that's a relationship. When you're not with the person, you're free, you're away, you're choosing to come back. That is what needs to be explained. Because we understand the DV relationship. We get that. But every situation is different. Just because you may have went through DV, if I go through DV, there are similarities, but it's not the same. It's not. It isn't. Some women in DV test the man, knowing his temper, knowing where he'll go, knowing what he'll do to her, and she'll still bring that energy out of him. And then there's some women in those relationships that don't do anything at all. That are just, their existence is enough for them to be pummeled on and whatnot because how bad that man feels inside and takes that out on her. So, but they're still different. Still the same situation because it still shouldn't be happening either way, whether you're pushing buttons or not. But it's still different. It's not the same. So it's weird when y'all try to compare everything. Like you can't do that. You can't blanket something because you just feel that way. I just feel like it's Stockholm syndrome. Well, you're not a doctor. What if Cassie isn't going through Stockholm at all? What if you asked her and she was like, well, I don't feel like I feel that way. I don't feel like that's what's going on here. Well, she's in denial. She's delusional because she's not agreeing with your narrative and how you feel about her life. A lot of things that Cassie did was very manipulative. That was manipulative to write in that lawsuit that basically the last time there was any sexual encounter between you and that man, he R-worded you. Come to find out that you were consensually having sex with him afterwards. Like, that's manipulative. It is. She shouldn't do that. Just be honest. That's all. But now that she's being caught up in certain stuff, that makes Diddy innocent. It does not. He's not innocent. There are still things that he did to her, plenty of things that he needs to pay for. That does fall in line with racketeering and whatnot. It does fall in line with those charges. It does. And that's what Cassie's trying to prove at this moment in time. She really doesn't have anything else to prove when it comes to his character. The tape says it all. She was trying to, that's why she's bringing up escorts being paid, all of that stuff. Again, he's being charged with racketeering and trafficking. Those things align with those charges. Him paying escorts, them flying from different places. And that falls in line with that. Underneath the umbrella of his business, basically paying the bill for all of this stuff, racketeering, connecting his businesses to illegal activity. That's what that falls in line with. So again, we're not discrediting her. I don't feel like Cassie's been discredited. I just feel that she's been really sneaky. I do. And not only do I think she's been sneaky, I think her and her husband kind of planned it. I think they both have a mutual, not hatred, but dislike for this man. And I do think it was, a simple money grab if she wasn't being fluently honest, because she wasn't. I don't think Cassie got tired of doing the freak offs. I think that it was the time frame. I think they were too long, honestly. That's how I feel. Because if Cassie wanted to continue to do freak offs even after she got married and whatnot, she could have. She chose not to. So why are you choosing no? Because he's not literally forcing her to do it. Like saying like she has no choice. He gave her a choice. She got married. She had kids. All of that. So she had still been doing freak offs to this day. Cassie's lawsuit took Diddy down. If Cassie wouldn't have said anything, Diddy would not be on trial right now. She is their star witness. Hello? She made all of this happen. She is the domino effect to a trial of Diddy. This just one person started all of this commotion. Cassie ruined him, but good. He needed to be, because again, she wasn't lying about the majority of the things she was saying. She wasn't. I do feel like she was lying to protect herself and her lawsuit and the money that she got from him, because that does conflict with what she was suing for. So again, she would definitely want to keep that on the hush hush, that I was sleeping with him after this, because that's what's going to add the empathy and sympathy from people, is that you are truly a victim. You know, like, he R-worded you, like, girl, that's insane. But to find out that that may not be true is a letdown. It is disheartening. Not that we wanted it to happen to her. This is what you told us, and we believed you. So we don't want to, like, not believe her. But there are some things that point out that she may have been being deceitful to protect herself again. And I don't like that. That's not cool. But it doesn't make Diddy innocent. It doesn't. It's like, I don't want Cassie to ruin her testimony trying to protect herself. Like, I don't want her to do that, because that's what it seemed like she was doing. When, being honest, we're gonna accept her. Like, all the stuff she said on that stand, and we still rock with you, because that's your life. Those are your personal experiences. So that day in the hotel, when Cassie was leaving, she didn't deserve anything that was happening to her. She did not. But when she left that day, she didn't have to return. She didn't. She chose to. So her choosing to return, and her choosing to do freak offs, and her choosing to say that freak offs were her job, I don't think that she was ever sick of the freak offs. I don't think she disliked them. I think she did. She even admitted on the stand that she liked them. She wasn't leaving a freak off to never return. She was leaving that freak off because she was just simply tired of it. Like, I just don't want to do it no more today. Like, I'm done today, is what it was giving. And Diddy wanted to continue. And being violent and controlling, this is what he did to her. So he was not giving her a choice in the matter. That's what that tape proves to me, hearing Cassie's testimony. He still should have let her go. So if Cassie didn't want to do freak offs, when she got there, when she was around Diddy, I don't feel like she had a choice. I don't. I do feel like her consent was taken away from her. I do. But he's only taking the consent that she's bringing to him. You're bringing him the right to take away your consent, and that shouldn't be. Meaning, if he's not dragging you to the freak off, why are you here if this isn't what you want to do? That needs to be explained, and the explanation is not Stockholm syndrome. Like, that's weird to even say that. Like, no, not at all. This is in the court of law. This is a trial that is happening right now. Like, don't mess it up. Like, there's no reason for you to mess it up when all you have to do is just tell the truth. And it doesn't necessarily make sense of a person saying that this man did such and such to me, and then I was still coming around him. That does not add up, and neither does saying domestic violence. What does that have to do with something that is insulting to people, other people that have been through DV, and would never allow a man to do that to them? And if that did happen, they would never encounter that man again. If that wasn't a cut, if they didn't have a true cutoff before, I feel like that would be most women that have been through DV's cutoff. A lot of women that have been through DV haven't been R-worded. A lot of them. The majority. The SCX was mainly consensual. And then there are some that didn't, that actually, unfortunately, got R-worded. So it's not the same, though. It isn't. It's different. So we can't just place a blame and just be like, oh, it's because she has Stockholm. Oh, it's because she was. No. Cassie was grown at the time. This didn't happen at 19. I can understand a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 21, 22-year-old not necessarily understanding the reality of what's going on when they're being pumped with drugs and all of it. I understand that. But you much older at this point in time. You in your 30s at this point. So if you ain't learned, you're not going to. Like, it's that simple. That's why she kept going back. It's a hard head makes a soft ass. That is why she kept returning. Whether she was down and out, Diddy cut off her drug supply, whether she was going back to Diddy because he was doing it deliberately to make sure that nobody was serving her so that she could go back to him. Like, plenty of reasons. Plenty. But does that make it okay? Because she needed drugs, she needed to go back to him. He wouldn't let her buy any anywhere else. What does that have to do with DB? What? Cassie made it seem as Diddy was the addict in the lawsuit, but then gets on the stand and say it was both of us. She said she was getting prescription meds for him because he was ODing and all of that and whatnot. So doctors weren't giving, prescribing like they was. So then she would get him prescription medication. She wasn't saying that about herself. She said that I would go get the loop for him. I go get it for him. I didn't hear her talk too much on stand about how he would have her carry weapons and how he would consistently pull weapons out on her. And she said that in the lawsuit. Go read it again. I mean, I didn't hear none of that. I was like, Cassie, why aren't you up here saying how he was pulling out weapons and stuff for you, girl? And how he was telling you to hand him weapons, like, because this is useful. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's helpful to really paint a picture for this jury. Let the jury know who he is. When they asked her, she hated Diddy. Oh, no. Basically, no. Do you still love him? No. I got love for the past. But it's like, okay, well, you're still kind of painting him out so that he's just not he's really not that bad of a guy. He just has issues. That's what it's giving. No, he needs to be a rapist. And all that's what he needs to be. It's no different with Aubrey O'Day. She'll go around on all of these other platforms, talk to TMZ, all of them about how Diddy is a monster. But you don't want to get on that stand. You should have fought to make sure that you was on that stand. Make it real. Make it real. Please. Do you think they scared her into not saying anything? Who? Scared who into not saying anything? Who? Because they can use Keefe D. Keefe D got charges on Tupac based off of podcasts that he did, like with Vlad and stuff like that. So it would be no different than like a Arbery and anybody else that had went around interviewing about how Diddy is such a monster, how he's did this, how he did that. They can use that right against them. They sure can. They sure can. It's no different than Dawn getting up here doing this testimony. The defense can break her testimony down with just as simple as this. Hold on. Just as simple as this. Dawn said Kalina witnessed everything, and with the Cassie incidents where with the skillet and watched Diddy hurt Cassie. But this is what Kalina had to say. What'd you say, Kalina?
Pissed. I'm working on my project. I'm at the got named quite a few times in Dawn's lawsuit. What was it like finding that out when you woke up? I was angry. I was pissed. I'm working on my project. I'm at the end of it, and then all of a sudden it's like a rip shot. Because Dawn knows me, and she knows that all she ever had to do if something was going on was to say something, and it would have been like Donkey Kong. Like we would have jumped that, would have out of there. But that wasn't the case. I think she just possibly thought Puff gave me more than her, and she just didn't have that. But that wasn't how it worked. I think it's, I don't know, I think maybe Dawn is, I don't know, but I will say broke would make you, they would do anything for money. And I just want what she's saying to be the truth. I never understood the phrase of something like Donkey Kong.
So Kalina said, and there's another interview with Kalina saying she never saw Diddy do any of that. None of the stuff, and Dawn listed Kalina being there. Is Kalina testifying? Because I mean, we don't exactly know the list. We don't exactly know. So I mean, is Kalina testifying? Because if she is, she could dismantle Dawn immediately. Because Dawn listed Kalina there. So how are both of y'all supposed to be in the room, but y'all see two different things? Dawn, you say that Kalina, I mean, that Diddy did all of this stuff to Cassie and hit her with a pan, threw the pan out of the eggs, all of that, pulled her upstairs, drug her upstairs by her hair, all of that stuff. But Kalina said none of that happened. Kalina said you broke and you need money. Kalina said you jealous. Kalina said you feel like Diddy did more for her than he was doing for you. Mm. So it's easy to dismantle what Don getting up there saying. She said she was at a fear for her life, all of that stuff. Okay, Kalina was in the same group with her, Diddy Dirty Money. They was in the same group. So if Kalina gets up there and says, no, Diddy was not like that. Diddy was always this and that. He was warm. He was this. He was loving. Blah, 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 blah. I never see him do, he wouldn't kill a fly. I never seen him. And that's what she said on other podcasts already, breaking her silence. And allegedly, Diddy paid her, but while he was in jail, there was allegedly conversations, phone calls, and stuff before he went to jail. Stuff too. After Dawn placed her lawsuit on him in September of last year. So again, and Dawn listed Kalina throughout a lot of the lawsuit. And I think Dawn did that because she thought Kalina would corroborate her story. And Kalina said, bullshit. Hi, Fish King Payne. Shout out to the Lituation. I love you, friend. I miss you, friend. Friend, when did you go live? Shout out to the Lituation Network. Hello. Hello. I know you busy, but damn, friend. Police hit the like. Police hit the like. Police hit the like. So yeah, shout out to the Official King Payne and the Lituation Network. Okay, and oh my god. Yeah, so that's not hard to debunk. With her getting up here. I'm like with Dawn, when they said they would bring her, I understand why they want Dawn to testify, but at the same time, it's like it's not hard to break down what she's going to say, to poke holes. All they need is Kalina. And it seems that Kalina has been Team Diddy. So is Kalina a witness? Is Kalina going to testify? Because if she does, she's going to rip apart what Dawn says. And there are some anonymous people that are testifying, like anonymous witnesses, that have stated that they are. So they were not. They're not about to be anonymous no more, because people about to figure out who they are. So, and these are victims, the ones that are anonymous on the witness list and whatnot. So I don't know exactly how that works. Like, because I know like cameras and stuff are not allowed in the courtroom, but we're gonna get a glimpse. People are gonna know who these people are, and it could be a celebrity for all we know. Girl, it could be a celebrity. Girl, it could be a celebrity. Girl, it could be a celebrity. I know it's not going to be Justin Bieber. I know it's not going to be him. Everybody be like, oh, Justin Bieber. I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Usher. I wonder if Usher would, because there are people on there that are anonymous. It's like 3 people, I believe. And maybe more. But I think it's at least three people that are anonymous witnesses, because they are victims. So their identity has been withheld from the public out of protection and whatnot. So I was like, I wonder how this is going to work. How is this going to work if they're trying to keep them? Because how are they going to stay anonymous? When they get up on those stands, people are going to see their face. Somebody's going to figure out who they are. And if it's somebody famous, that information coming out immediately. Like if Usher coming in and sit down, girl, people gonna run out of the courthouse and go live. I know consequences because we too nosy. We too know, girl. It's messy because I know I'll take off running out the courthouse, girl. Usher, oh my God, it's Usher. They come to U.S. ATRYA. OMD. Oh, they tell me what you want to do to me. Girl, he up there. Yes. Bitch. Usher is up there, girl. Girl, Usher got up there. It was real, y'all. Y'all, we was right. Y'all, girl, he did. Girl, he did this. He did this. Girl, we was right. Girl, we running out the courthouse. Mary J. Blige get up there on that stand, girl. Girl, reminisce on the love we had. Is up there on the stand, bitch. Oh my God. Oh my God. Girl, Cassie and Josh on the stand, girl. Girl, is on the motherfucking stand, bitch. My God. Oh, Maria. Bitch. Girl, that's what that word. Girl, that's what that word. So you know if it's celebrity, the content creators is running out of the courthouse. There's running out of the courthouse. They're gonna be like, bitch, we'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. Girl, I just have to tell y'all the girl had to be first. Girl had to be first. Girl had to tell y'all. Girl, oh shit, is that? So I mean, her plan. So who knows? It could be. You got Cassie, you got Dawn, you got Cassie's mom, which I really feel like Cassie's mom's testimony is it's the mom. So it's like with it being a mom, it's biased. Like it's biased. It's biased. And I'm a girl. So I mean, unless she can up there to say like like I saw some of the bruises, and I have to call the police because this one time I felt like he was over there hurting my daughter. So, I mean, I really don't see what her testimony is gonna do because it's biased. Like it is. You the mom. Because as the father, I'm getting up that bias as hell. If that was my baby, oh, I'm getting up that bias as hell. Yes, I'm thinking yes. All of that happened, and I remember because this one time she came on my house and she smelled like pee. She did. My baby came in the house, she smelled like piss, and I said, I've not raised you that way. I said, girl. So she came in my house and she smelled like a urinal. And there was a time that she came because it was the flick. It was the flick. And she didn't think that because she had on some Maybelline on the side, and I was looking at my baby, I was saying because baby is puffy. And because it was a little bit like fear. So I was there and I had saw that he did that to my baby. He did that. And then this one time he tried to tell my nigga that he was my baby new father. And that he was the dad and I. That she wasn't needing no more. That I'm like, how you saying that, slow fucker? And you didn't even put no ring on my baby hand. How you gonna say you the daddy and you didn't even marry my baby, girl? Like you didn't even do that. So it's just like that's just what that were. So she's just gonna get up there real biased. She is. She's gonna get up there extremely biased. So it's just duh. I expect her to get up there and say he did everything. What did he do? Everything. That's what I expect. That's what I expect. What did your daughter lie about? Nothing. That's what I expect. Did she tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Yes. That's what I expect. Correct. Correct. Ma'am, how would you like to start off? Where my daughter left off. Everything she said be true. Everything she said be true. So and my girl, that's what I thought. So I mean that's just what that word. And she left a couple things out. Correct. Correct. That's just what that word was. Mm-hmm. Correct. And that's what I'm looking up there and do. What? Because I'd be embarrassed as hell to go up there like, girl. But I love my baby. She gave me $2-3 when she got that 20 mil. I love my baby, so remember she bought your house. Remember. She's getting us a Ferrari. She's getting us a Ferrari. She's getting us a Ferrari. Yeah, she just got up there and talked about how she was pissed on by multiple niggas. And, oh God. Hold your composure. Hold your composure. Do not dive on Diddy. Do not dive on Diddy. Do not. When they point at him in the courtroom, that is not signaling that for you to go dive on top of him. Because that's how I would feel. That's how I would be. I would, girl. At least on the last day of court, I feel like uh uh Cassie daddy need to run up on Diddy. I feel like they need to let that man stay right behind him so that he could scratch him all in the back of his so he could be behind him, scratch him all over hit him like this, girl. Because for real, because we Blake. And that's what we do. We go girl, we right in front of the judge, the police, all of that girl. We getting our ones. We getting our ones. No, no, you don't peed on my baby. Oh no, absolutely not. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No. You made my baby a urinal cake. You made my baby a urinal cake and you're gonna pay for that. Take that, take that. You're gonna pay for that. So no, it's just it is what it is. At least I get a good 2 piece. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But you're getting hits. You're not leaving that courtroom. We're going together. We're going together. We're going together. Because they can put me right next to you. Same cell. Because that's exactly what I said. Police put you police. Put me at least 2-3 sales away from it. Cause like, yeah, he got his nerve. So that's just what I were. So yeah, Kalina could get up there and be like, Don, look at here. Look at here, you bald head chicken. Look at here, you bald head chicken. I don't know what the you're talking about, girl. I'm working on my music. I don't know. Look, I didn't see none of that. I didn't see none of that. I didn't see none of that. I saw Cassie cooking some eggs. I did because they was fire. I ate some of the eggs. I was asking if she was gonna make some of that tofurkey, and then she looked at me weird. That's all I remember. I don't remember nothing after that. The next thing I remember, I had saw Diddy came downstairs sweating. I don't know what he was up there doing. I don't know. The room was too far. Like, girl, I don't know. They was on the north wing, girl. How you hear all of that from the east wing, girl? I don't know. But I was, girl, we was different longitude, latitude. I don't know what the you're talking about. Look at here. Look at here. This why we ain't got no group now. This why we ain't got no group now. Yeah, you're lying. You're broke. Help me, I'm poor. So that's what Kalina's gonna give because she's been giving that. She said when she found out that Dawn put her in that lawsuit that she was pissed. She was like, I was skin livid. That the audacity of damaged girl of I'm gonna stay down and rattle you. This is like the audacity of her. Like, girl, this is why I'm getting on safe that whole night. So we'll see, girl. We'll see. But let's get into what these people up here come on, white people river dance. Let's see what they got to say, bro.
Give it where it is right now.
It's a good question, and I remember thinking after this first week, wow, that's a long time. Ventura testified very early because she's 8.5 months pregnant. They
Correct.
had to get her on the stand.
They did.
Remember, this is a RICO case, so it's not just about the sex trafficking. Prosecutors have to show that Combs was running his businesses as corrupt enterprises, which means they were organizations that were committing crimes. So I would bet that the balance of this trial is going to be corroborative of Ventura's story. They also have to bring in the other victims, the unnamed victims, but they're also going to have to.
See, they got to bring in the unnamed victims. Them could be celebrities. Them could be celebrities. They could. It absolutely could. Girl, what if Pam walking in from Total?
Charge and explain how he conspired with more than one person and how he was running Bad Boy Records as a corrupt organization. So they might need that time.
Yeah, data and records often part of RICO cases. We'll see if this becomes a data-heavy case. Jeremy Solan, Elise Adamson, thanks so much for being with us. I do appreciate it.
And what has been an explosive start in the trial of Sean Combs today, a former member of the musical group Danity Kane is set to return to the stand to testify in the case against him. Dawn Richard testified Friday that she saw Combs attack his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in 2009. CNN's Kara Scannell is outside the court with more details. What all can we expect to hear from her today as she takes the stand and later this week as well?
Good morning, Sarah. So Dawn Richard will be back on the witness stand this morning. Friday, her testimony, she said she witnessed Combs come downstairs into the kitchen, take a skillet with eggs in it, and attempt to hit Cassie Ventura, his then girlfriend, over the head. She also testified that Combs dragged Ventura up to the bedroom and she could hear glass breaking and yelling. The next day, Richard said Combs asked her to come back to his home into the recording studio. She said he locked the door and then told her where he comes from. People who speak sometimes go missing. She said that she took that as a threat. So she will be back on the witness stand this morning. Her testimony is supposed to wrap up pretty quickly. And then the prosecution is going to call Ventura's former best friend. We heard a lot about her last week. Her name is Carrie Morgan. She's expected to testify. And Ventura testified she was friends with Morgan before she met Combs and was friends with her throughout the relationship until Ventura said Combs hit Morgan, and that ended their friendship. So Morgan expected to be a prosecution witness who will corroborate some of what Ventura has said. After that, they're going to call a couple of people who
so it's like, what's love got to do with it? When our girl said, no, it's okay for motherfuckers to be hitting on you. Girl, when he hit that dancer, girl, when I slapped the dancer, she said, I'm Tina, girl, I'm about this bitch. Because, girl, it's cool for this motherfucker to be pinching and stomping and kicking and biting and scratching on you. But he ain't about to kick, bite, and scratch the pinch on me. Nah, so Morgan said, look, I'm going to pop this I know that's right, Morgan. Morgan said, she said, all it take is one time. That's it. You ain't even mommy over. You don't go with us. You go with her. Because we different. You put your hands on her, she going to the fetal position. You put your hands on me, I'm liable to your motherfucking ass. We a little piece of different. She come from a nurse household. They got yelled at. We got whoopings. Hit a little different. You put your hands on me. All the brothers I got. Out your goddamn nerve. I will call Moo over here and it is over.
Assistant, a former chef. The prosecution said they also expect to call an escort this week, as well as Ventura's mother. Ventura has testified that she told her mother about some of the physical abuse at the hands of Combs at one point in their relationship.
Now, since she told her mother, so that's a lot of hearsay. So that's something I expect her mother's testimony in. Because it's biased. Because you just coming up here repeating things that you saying that your daughter told you. You're a mother. You're going to protect your daughter. So it's going to be easy for the prosecution to cross-examine her. Because, again, you don't have any proof of a lot of stuff that you're saying. You're saying that you called and your daughter called you and whatnot. So now she has text messages and things like that. That could definitely be helpful. But other than that, it's hearsay.
So she will be another witness that the prosecution is calling this week. And of course, this is just week 2 of what the prosecution says will be 6 weeks of their presenting their case to the jury. Sarah?
6 weeks. Okay? 6 weeks. So this is happening quickly. Okay? Again, this ain't no long trial. This ain't about to be till later on this fall around Christmas. All that. No. Immediately does Diddy want this over right away.
The picture they are painting is one of a man with a lot of power and a man with what appears to be in their evidence, a scary guy that was threatening to a lot of people. We'll see how the defense deals with that. Kara Scannell, great reporting from the court as usual. Appreciate it. John?
All right, with us now, former Manhattan prosecutor Jeremy Saland, also former federal prosecutor Elise Adamson. And Jeremy, let me just start with you, because I'm curious, after the testimony of Cassie Ventura, which in a way is the bulk of the prosecution case, what left do they have to do? What are they now trying to do with these witnesses in order to prove the sex trafficking and racketeering charges?
Force, fraud, coercion. Not just a bad, ugly guy doing terrible, horrible things. Not a sex abuse case, not a domestic assault case, but that there was this conspiracy to have this criminal enterprise, that all this different foundation of this force, fraud, and these actions on his part, and these different players building it up to traffic women and men, evidently too, because you have these male prostitutes across state lines to engage in this commercial sex acts. So it's not just that he hit her. It's not just that he hit her with a skillet. It's not just that
another thing that really annoys me about these cases and with this case is that people want to project Cassie being R-worded by Diddy, but every male that has accused Diddy had been R-worded. Every single one. There's no consensual SCX with the males that have stated lawsuits and to testify against Diddy. See, this is why men don't come forward. This is why men do, because people are so worried about Cassie and Cassie's trauma, although she consensually slept with the same person afterwards. These men did not sleep with Diddy after he R-worded them. They did not. So this is why men don't report. I mean, it's already enough women that are victim shamed into not coming forward, but it's way worse with men. Way worse. This is why a lot of them take it to their grave, have issues till they leave this planet, because society does not make them feel comfortable enough to deal with their pain, to deal with their trauma. So that's very unfortunate. So it'd be weird how much people want to try to come in and defend Cassie and what she said. Okay, but what about these men? The other victims aren't saying that they had consensual SCX with him after. They're not saying that. You did. That's why it's being called out. We still haven't even differentiated if you're comparing your R wording to one of the consensual times that y'all had SCX. Because I would have made it 3 times the R wording and then having consensual SCX twice after. You never, Cassie never stated doing anything after the RPE until she got cross examined. Not even in her lawsuit did she say anything about anything happening consensually after or nor before. So, like right before the R wording, they weren't around each other. So there was nothing happening at all. She was where she was and he was where he was. It's very confusing. But we have to overlook that. We have to overlook these men and them telling the truth from beginning to end because you have people like Cassie that want to change hers mid testimony. So yeah, we it's unfortunate.
Not forced her to take drugs, and she maybe did engage on her own in these freak offs, but it's building that criminal enterprise conspiracy. Much more difficult on its face.
Yeah, and we'll get to the defense, what the defense will be in a second, but at least first, continuing on the prosecution and what they're trying to do in order to prove force, fraud, and coercion. What exactly do they need to elicit from these witnesses? Dawn Richard testified on Friday that she did see an example of abuse. Diddy, she testified how Sean Combs beat Cassie Ventura, or he saw her with a skillet or whatnot. But what more besides that?
Yes, John, you're absolutely right. That is exactly what the prosecution needs to show, that it was more than a consensual relationship, as the defense tried very hard to paint during Cassie's cross-examination. They need to elicit from Dawn Richard more details about this abusive conduct, because recall, on cross, the defense kind of left the impression with the jury that maybe Sean Combs only became violent when he was coming down off of drugs. Maybe he was bipolar. But no, already Dawn Richard has kind of dispelled that by saying he got mad about not answering fast enough and then beat her with a skillet and dragged her upstairs by her hair and then threatened them both. And that is key because, agreeing to do something can...
Diddy has never been in love with a woman before in his life. Diddy has never, I repeat, Diddy has never been in love with a woman before in his life. When you in love with somebody, unless it's basically like a threesome, you don't ever share your partner. When you're in love with somebody, you are stingy as with them. You are super stingy. You don't want anybody having them, especially sexually. So for basically every person that he done been with, to watch the woman you love get smashed by multiple random people and all of that, you don't love her. You don't love her. No. He didn't love Kim Porter. He ain't love Cassie. He ain't love Gina. He ain't love Daphne. He ain't love Young Miami. None of you. Except for Kim. God rest her soul. And I mean, like, had love for her. Now, I feel like he had love for Kim. I feel like he had love for Cassie, meaning like you care about the person, like friends, but no, not at all. As far as I'm concerned, he ain't never been in love before in his life. Because when you're in love, you don't want nobody with that person. No one at all. You're extremely stingy with them, selfish, you know. So to me, now he may have loved a man, but I don't know nothing about loving a woman because I nigga where he stood if he touched my girl. So. It even touched my girl. Like, I'm telling you, like, girl, you don't have to know somebody personally to say that you're not in love with a chick that you would let trains be ran on. That's weird as hell. That's weird as hell. do you have a man or a woman? Have they let trains be ran on you right in front of them while they record and tell them what to do to you? I don't have to know you to, love is love and love don't hurt. So I don't need to know a person to know if they love someone. It's all of actions speak louder than words. The action, I can tell you I love you all day long, but am I treating you that way? Am I treating you that way? No way in the world I'll tell my woman, I love you, I love you, I love you, but bend over and let old boy, all what? What the type of love is that? Like, what type of love is that? That ain't no love. That's what you do to an old girl. Like, like when you just, even when dudes cheat, they don't want neither person sleeping with nobody else, even while they cheating. Like, yeah, I'm cheating on you, but you better not be with nobody else. And then the person that you cheating with, you better not be with nobody neither. They're that selfish. Like when it comes to, but you're supposed to be. It's the only time it's okay to be selfish in love. Like, but what don't make sense is he would act like he was jealous though. How can you be jealous of a girl that you wash and smash other people? Most dudes get hesitant and jealous when they see their girl getting too close to someone else because they don't want anything sexual to happen. But your girl done slept with the party. What are you jealous of? I feel like the only time he got jealous is when he couldn't watch. Diddy was like, "How dare you date Michael B. Jordan and now not watch that go down and not direct and not send us to this situation? How dare you sleep with Kid Cudi and I don't watch? Got your damn nerve. Fine as they is. The wrong with you? Nah, I would have gave him a couple dollars. Got your damn nerve. As fine as Michael B. Jordan is, you over there do it alone without me? I couldn't even be a fly on the wall. I could have been peeping through the blinds. Huh? What y'all do with that? To come in here and sit down and tell me how big it was and all of that crap. Now, how did you start? Did you ride it? What was that moaning like? What did it sound like? Did you think about me at all? Did you tell him I'm a fan? Did you tell him we record? Did you at least tell him that we still go together? We do parties? Did you sit and spin? Well, how long was it? Got your damn nerve. My God. That's why he was threatening when she was over there with Kid Cudi. He said, I know you ain't over there. You better be over there recording everything that's happening or I'm going to blow his car up. That's just what that word. That's just what that word. So that what? That's how I feel.
Adamson. And Jerry, let me just start with you because I'm curious after the testimony of Cassie Ventura, which in a way is the bulk of the prosecution case, what left do they have to do? What are they now trying to do with these witnesses in order to prove the sex trafficking and
no envy.
Force, fraud, coercion. Not just a bad, ugly guy doing terrible, horrible things. Not a sex.
If I was Cassie after Michael B. Jordan, I would have came over to Diddy house like this. When he opened up the door, I would have knocked on the door. And when he opened it up, I would have spit on the ground. And he was like, what is that? Michael B. Jordan. And that's on period. What you and Kim do today? Move. What you and Kim do today? Move. What y'all do today? That's how I would have been. I sure would have. Correct. Coming back to the house just like he like it. Well, with spermicles all over my chest. I would have. He walk up, what's that on your chest? Oh, this. Lil Durk. Mm. You want it on your nipples? I saved you some. You talking about this Lil Durk? Oh, okay. Quincy, your son? Mm. Correct. Correct. I would have got pregnant by Quincy or Justin on purpose. See, y'all be too scared. Y'all be too scared, girl. Y'all be too scared, girl. He already hit you. Girl, he already hit you. Girl, please. I sure would have. I would have got pregnant by Quincy or Justin. Probably Quincy. I would have got pregnant by one of them, and I would have went ahead like a lion and had the baby. And then came back into the public. Like, period. Quincy the third in this bitch. They talking about did, did. Like, I'm getting back in the worst way. Give me $40 million if you don't want me to come public with it. And give me $40 million. Put $20 million on top because remember you are word of me. That's 20. Put another 20 if you don't want this baby to come out. And I wish you would touch me or my baby. I wish you would. So I already got pregnant on purpose. Because, like, why not? Why not? You having babies?
Not a domestic assault case, but that there was this conspiracy to have this criminal enterprise, that all this different foundation of this force, fraud, and these actions on his part, and these different players building it up to traffic women and men, evidently too, because you have these male prostitutes across state lines to engage in this commercial sex acts. So it's not just that he beat her. It's not just that he hit her with a skillet. It's not just that he maybe not forced her to take drugs and she maybe did engage on her own in these freak-offs, but it's building that criminal enterprise conspiracy. Much more difficult on its face.
Yeah, and we'll get to the defense, what the defense will be in a second, but at least first, continuing on the prosecution and what they're trying to do in order to prove force, fraud, and coercion. What exactly do they need to elicit from these witnesses? Dawn Richard testified on Friday that she did see an example of abuse. Diddy, she testified how Sean Combs beat Cassie Ventura, or he saw her with a skillet or whatnot. But what more besides that?
Yes, John, you're absolutely right. That is exactly what the prosecution needs to show, that it was more than a consensual relationship, as the defense tried very hard to paint during Cassie's cross-examination. They need to elicit from Dawn Richard more details about this abusive conduct, because recall, on cross, the defense kind of left the impression with the jury that maybe Sean Combs only became violent when he was coming down off of drugs. Maybe he was bipolar. But no, already Dawn Richard has kind of dispelled that by saying he got mad about not answering fast enough and then beat her with a skillet and dragged her upstairs by her hair and then threatened them both. And that is key, because, you know, agreeing to do something consensually is one thing, but Dawn Richard basically said she was afraid she was going to die if she did not do what Combs said. So all of that is very corroborative of Ventura's account, and it also goes to Combs' intent, which is key for the trafficking charge.
How will the defense, Elise, we'll keep going with you on this, what will the defense do to counter these witnesses after they come?
Yeah, the defense is going to have to employ the classic playbook, which is to discredit and impeach this witness. So Dawn Richard had a long-standing relationship with Diddy, a professional relationship spanned over a decade. So expect them to ask questions about having seen this abusive conduct and being afraid that she's going to be killed, but continuing to work with him. Asking the motivations. She has her own lawsuit, which she filed against Diddy in September, where she alleges some of this same conduct. But expect the defense to paint that as a money grab, because that would be the motivation for her to provide this testimony if it's not true.
Jeremy, how successful has the defense been so far during its cross of Cassie Ventura in planting some of the seeds that they will need going forward?
They planted some, but nothing exceptional. So if you're going to argue, for example, the timing of a particular rape and whether or not that's accurate, you know, that's a difficult lift to do, because I think they're still established that it was against her will. Do you believe that maybe if she's off by a certain period of time that rape didn't happen? You know, you came back and you returned to him. Was there love? You could love someone at time one and still not consent at time 2. You can consent again at time 3 and not consent at time 4. So it's a very difficult thing to do and poke the holes at her. Is it about money? Well, no, I didn't cancel my tour because of the money. I canceled my tour separately. So it's difficult. I don't know if they've done the job they needed to do with her, but I think that goes to the point there's still a lot more to come. You're going to have text messages. You're going to have the transactional records. You're going to have other witnesses who are going to testify and bolster up Cassie Ventura. It's not just going to rise and fall solely on her shoulders.
You did express some curiosity that Cassie Ventura's mother is on this witness list.
Yeah, a lot of what she's going to likely say would be hearsay. There is an information I came across involving something about the reaching out to the father by Diddy about I'm her father now or I'm her dad now and she's my daughter. Basically, family set aside. I don't know whether or not the mother was privy to that call, but there's going to be a lot of hearsay in that, so I'm not sure. I don't think there's allegations that she saw the injuries as alleged, but we'll find out. But she's not really a critical witness. I think some of the other players are much more important.
And Elise, just finally, do you think 6 weeks, the prosecution really needs 6 full weeks to lay out its case, given where it is right now?
As the defense tried very hard to paint during Cassie's cross-examination, they need to elicit from Don Richard more details about this abuse of conduct.
This is the same thing over and over. It's what it's giving.
Maybe Sean Combs only became violent when he was coming down.
Not just going to rise and fall solely on her shoulders.
You did express some curiosity that Cassie Ventura's mother.
This is another example of what happens.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that. Move right along. Okay, let's go ABC.
Mentioned in her testimony, she testified about her relationships with Kid Cudi and Michael B. Jordan. In your opinion, how significant is this trial to the culture right now? So many big names being mentioned.
I mean, again, to understand how big this trial is, you have to understand how big Diddy's celebrity
hit the light.
Please
hit the light.
That decade was culturally. You can't mention it without mentioning Sean Diddy Combs or Bad Boy Records. Like, his music was everywhere. As you just mentioned earlier, it was everywhere from school dances to weddings to kickbacks to after parties, clubs, whatever you want to say. His music videos were bigger than everybody
and
else.
People stating that
had a hand in something. And Diddy, for a long time,
that Dawn stayed and that Cassie stayed and all of that stuff. That stuff is extremely relevant. When people are saying like, oh, again, Stockholm and blah, 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 and this and that. No. When a person leaves a situation is when they are ready to do so. That's just what that is. Okay. When you're ready to go, you go. When you're sick and tired, you're sick and tired. When you're ready to move around, you move around. It's that simple. Sean, do you believe that Diddy raped Cassie? Because I don't believe that. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say that it didn't happen. But I am very confused by the timing. Because going back around someone at all after they've done something like that, because she didn't say throughout their relationship that he R-worded her. Like, that wasn't something that was regular. That was different. That was new. A new way, a new tactic of hurting her and putting fear, instilling fear into her. So that should have been the goodbye. If she didn't leave before, it takes common sense, whether you have Stockholm, whether you're going through DD or not. It's common sense to know that this is a crime. What you are doing to me, people get arrested for. Okay? You're already overlooking the fact that him putting his hands on her is also a crime, something that people get arrested for. So you're already overlooking that red flag. How many of them are you going to overlook to being around this person to victimize them instead of yourself and make excuses to be? It gives she's getting something out of it. What are you getting out of it to keep going around this individual and going through these things, knowing what you're going to go through before you even get there? We are not just going to erase that. That doesn't just go away and we're going to chop it up to she needs therapy, or she may be going through a diagnosis of a certain trauma that, worth post-traumatic disorder, or we're not going to diagnose her. That's for doctors to do. You have to sit with a therapist, in order to figure these things out, or psychiatrist to figure these things out if you were going through a syndrome or, something at that moment in time, right? That's not for us to determine. Okay. So we can't just because we hear these words or see these examples in other people, we just give them to people because it excuses a certain behavior. Okay. Because no one was in the chat Stockholm, 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 Stockholm until Cassie's testimony holes was poked in. But no one was going around saying that. No one was going, oh, it's Stockholm. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's DD. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's that. But then as soon as she get popped, as soon as she come forward and tell us information that we didn't know, then it's Stockholm. She was going through DD. That don't make sense. That you are excusing behavior that you don't like because you're not saying that she's not lying because she is because that would be that. But since she didn't say it, is again omitting. Since I didn't, just because I didn't say it, I mean I lied. That's what that's giving. If I asked you for your keys to use your car to go to the store, and then I could use your car, but I go to more places than the store, and then I come back and you ain't really got no gas in your car, and then that person says to me like, "Why I really got no gas in my car?" You say you was just basically just running up the street, like. Well, I went other places. Well, why lie to me and tell me you just going to the store? I didn't lie. I just didn't say anything. I just didn't say what? But a person can't call you a liar because that is still lying. It is. I mean, you may want to look at it as like, oh, well, she did not say it. Well, the important thing is to tell the truth. So if that's part of the story, if you can recollect, if a person is saying like, yeah, you slept with him multiple times after this quote unquote grape that you had went through, you were around him, even FaceTiming him with your man that you left him for, and whatnot. You're doing all these things, consensually having SDX with him and whatnot, but you fail to tell us that. So that means you're keeping that information out to protect you. That information protects Cassie, not Diddy. That does not protect him. Not at all. When she's painting him out to be a villain. No, he just either is, because if he raped you, he's still a villain. It don't matter whether you slept with him after that or not. That's not the part that matters. What matters is that you get justice for a crime that happened to you. That's what matters. Because he's not on trial for it. So sometimes one win is a win for all. So him going down for racketeering and XDX trafficking and whatnot is still a win for all of his victims, for all of the people that he's done something for. Him being incarcerated is still a win. Don't get up, is what I'm saying. And what Cassie was doing by not stating that information is fucking it up. Like, girl, don't do that. Why do that? When you could have just been honest and we still don't accept you. You sitting up here saying that it was multiple men urinating in your mouth and we still rocking with you. You done stated that you went back and forth. We clearly know from the tape that you were still with him after him doing all this to you in the hallway. So it was we see that you were going back and forth. Dawn says she saw this incident with you and the eggs and him throwing eggs that you're not. So you clearly stayed with him after those things. You stayed around him after those things. You dated him after those things. So that we see that. The proof is in the pudding. We saw you go to Dubai or whatever on vacation with those black eyes and stuff like that. We saw all that. You were still with him. You were still rocking with him. So we're not paying attention to any of that stuff because that's the past. Like, none of that matters anymore. So I can agree to where I'm not saying the grape didn't happen, but I'm not going to say that it did because of Cassie. Cassie put that trajectory out there, that imagery out there. No one's just coming forward and saying, out of defense of Diddy, saying it didn't happen to defend him. No, not at all. She made it this way. She did. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? So yeah, that's very unfortunate that happened, but it did. And it does feed the narrative that I feel like Diddy's a defense team is going to try and run with, which is that Cassie and Alex set up this lawsuit to basically get money out of them. Although, Cassie did have her right with the Survivors Act in New York City and a few other states, California, I believe, that have the Adult Survivor Act to where if you have a predator, if you're a victim of a, sexual crime, or I believe, that you can sue for compensation from the person that did it to you. So it was an opportune time, but was it her wanting to do it, or did her and her husband, Alex, decide to, kind of shake Diddy down? Like, you did do a lot to her. She still deserves it. So, either way, um, run them pockets. It does feed that narrative. And it won't help if they're going to try to make it seem like Cassie wasn't actually R-worded and whatnot. Like, that's not helpful. Um, that because I feel like the prosecution was dependent on that, of really showing like who his character is, like no morals, no values, no respect for humans, especially women, um, and showing the fear that they had and why a lot of these escorts and others were fearful of not complying with doing whatever he wanted in sexual nature because they were confused and afraid and not knowing, and they're isolated areas. So, you feel isolated, you feel cut off from the world. And I do believe Diddy believes in sex magic, and stuff like that. I do, because they were too frequent for it to have just been, this is what I do sexually. Unless he's like addicted to it, because that seems like it's something you do like once in a blue moon, not on a daily to weekly basis. It gives you can't perform unless this is happening. That's what it gives. It gives you can't get it up if certain things aren't transpiring. And I do think when you're that rich, you get bored. Um, I do think that you get bored. Those were sex humiliations. Well, to the person, but the person that's doing the ritual, it's ritualistic. It's not humiliating. There was all type of rituals back in the day that people would do in certain tribes and cultures, and we would find it literally humiliating. But they didn't. It was a ritual. Like when it was circumcised women and all type of stuff like that. It seems horrific to us. Like what the, you know? But to them, it was a ritual. So they didn't look at it like a humiliating or anything like that. But we hear those stories and we're like, whoa, how could you do that? Like, why would you do that to her? That's humiliating. That's degrading. That's, so it's like, yeah, but to them, it's not at all. Um, and this is truly happening to Diddy because the elite is sick of him. The elite has voted Diddy out. So rather Diddy goes to jail or not, the elite is happy because he has been destroyed. He has been dismantled. He has, and he will be changing that name too. If he does ever get out, he will be changing his name immediately. He was already in the process of changing it to Love. So yeah, which is weird because why would you name your daughter that if you wanted to name yourself? Fucking weirdo. So yeah, he was trying to trademark love. I'm like, what? What? A word that has been around since forever? You want to trademark? We know you didn't make it. Whatever. So yeah, I don't know if Diddy will ever get out. I don't know. He will never recover from the jail or not. Agreed. And I think that's what the elite wanted. The elite wanted Diddy to crumble. They were tired of him. their business partners, the ones that's running the world. He was sitting at the table with these people and took advantage of it. He did. He did because he's been protected for too long not to have been in their good graces. He's been protected way too long. Way too long. He's been getting away with this for too long. So again, getting his first trial, he got off scot-free. Didn't have to worry about anything, really no repercussions happened to him, after that. If anything, it gave him more like street cred because he hip hop. So if anything, it was helpful. Like it really didn't hurt anything. Like he wasn't losing deals and stuff like that. If anything, it was gaining them for what had happened. But yeah, this is what they do when they're ready to destroy you. Tupac back in the day, his RAPE case, all of that was trash. Like none of that stuff should have happened to that man. But when you say F them and I don't want nothing to do with y'all and y'all can't tell me nothing and they're like, oh, we gonna show you. We gonna show you. Are they talking or just sitting here waiting? Yeah, they're just sitting here waiting. Yeah. Wait, did Cassie's mom go on? Cassie's friend Carrie Morgan told him true. Oh, okay. So Cassie's friend Carrie Morgan is on the stand. Is what it seems. It says she told jurors Diddy pulled her hair and kicked her. Wow. So this is the friend, Cassie's friend, Carrie Morgan, best friend, which again is helpful, but I hope she sticks to more so to what her experience was with Diddy, because then it won't be like viewed as like hearsay. It'd be viewed as okay, no, this is an actual testimony from someone that's actually been around him, and these things have happened. So to her, so the whole hair pulling and kicking her, all of that. I hope that she keeps it on her and not Cassie, because you being a best friend, it's not helpful. If you're coming in backing her, it gives bias. You're going to agree and do whatever you need to do just because she's your friend type of situation. They just sent us out of courthouse too. Who was there when I talked to? I saw Gloria Elridge. Is that her last name? I saw that she was there. Gross. But she had left though. So I was she Don's attorney? I wonder if she was Don's attorney. And we don't care nothing about that. Y'all not South Korea.
It's a very difficult thing to do and poke the holes at her. Is it about money? Well, no, I didn't cancel my tour because of the money. I canceled my tour separately. So it's difficult. I don't know if they've done the job they needed to do with.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Dawn. I think that maybe but they do have a lot of witnesses, so I can't even trip on the prosecution because it's a lot. I'm sure they are sick and tired. I know that they are being driven nuts because I don't, as of right now, I don't know. I guess it's a little early to state. I mean, we are going into week 2, so or is this week 3? No, I think this is week 2. That we're going into with testimonies. This is heavy. This is heavy, and it's a lot of information. And I know Diddy is just sitting there, plotting what he gonna do to these people. What he gonna do to these people? I'm sure that's what he plotting. I'm sure of it. I'm gonna go to a different one. I'm doing it right now. You're right.
Rapper Sean Combs accused of sex trafficking and racketeering. A jury of 8 men and 4 women were seated this morning and will now decide his fate.
ABC's Olivia Rubin joins us live.
Would it be an 8 man on the jury? I do think he has a higher chance
LAPD officer takes the stand
of getting found not guilty. I think if it was more women, it would be way less likely.
And both sides have given their opening statements, which really gave us the first view into Combs' defense here. And really, they say
It was all consensual.
Yeah.
Richards, who's a friend of the former girlfriend of Diddy, Cassie Ventura. She's back on the stand now. Dawn Richard is a singer. She was in a group called Danity Kane that Puffy, Diddy, if you will, I think it was Puffy at the time, had also helped to try to break them into the music business. Now, she started her
So
testimony
it's Cass or
Friday,
Cassie? Carrie up
and
there
what she
or
was
Dawn?
talking about on the stand were instances that she said where she saw Combs
Confused.
physically assault and attack, if you will, Cassie Ventura. She described one incident from 2009, I believe it is, where she said she, being Dawn Richard, said that she was recording at the house, the facility, someplace on the property where they were all together, and that she told the court that she witnessed Sean Combs come down screaming and that he physically assaulted Cassie Ventura, again, her words, by hitting her on the head and a couple of other places there or about. So very serious allegations going on there, very serious testimony. Richard will, of course, then be cross-examined at some point once the defense gets their chance to, as you know, cross-examine any witnesses. So that's one of the headlines there. We'll, of course, talk to you about the Brooklyn Bridge and what happened with the Mexican Navy ship that was going on there, which caught all of us, just amazed.
No, talk about this.
Still seemed surreal, even when I saw it late Saturday evening after friends were texting saying, "Hey, did you hear?" That sort of
I don't
thing.
know who this bald man is, but he
So
is
let me see. Anyone having a question? My comrade and producer Alex is right over my shoulder, and we're just checking in with you. And let's see, one other thing that apparently Justin Bieber taking the stand. Okay, now from our understanding, because that came up, and thank you for that question, is our understanding that he is not
correct
supposed to be called as a witness. That could have to change, depending upon. I want to say, I'm not a legal expert, but I do believe.
I really don't feel like Justin Bieber is going to testify. I don't understand why people keep. Have people seen the condition of Justin Bieber? Have y'all seen that poor guy? Justin is not stable enough to be testifying. No, he is not. I just saw a picture of Justin yesterday. I was just like, oh my God. Like, you can clearly see he's going through something. Like, I'm not around him, so I can't say what it is, but you can see there's clearly a lot going on with Justin. A lot. And I'm a stranger. So as a stranger, if I could look at that man to know that there's a lot going on with him, I don't see how the people around him don't see it. But when you were ignoring that person just living off their money, I mean, I guess. But Justin got a lot going on. So I highly doubt. Okay, who's on the stand now?
Singer has been testifying. Who's on the stand now? Lisa Evers, my colleague, is in the courtroom. We believe, at last check I heard, that it was still Richard that was on the stand. It is 1:13. Having been down in that courthouse, this is probably the time where they're taking lunch, depending upon what time that the judge gave them to do so. So it could be likely doing that, like a quarter after 1. Usually they are back on in the courtroom by 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock if the testimony went long and then he took the break at 1. Then it's usually about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Let's see.
Oh, y'all haven't seen him lately? Hold on. Oops, my fault. I will pull
Lisa
Justin
just
right
gave
up for
us
y'all.
there. Alex just let me know, so we'll be waiting for that. But again, Dawn Richard was the last one taking the stand. And let's see. Carrie Morgan, another friend, testified that she twice saw Combs physically assault her and recalled Combs pulling her hair, kicking and punishing her. So just, the nature of what the testimony is certainly disturbing and certainly unsettling, but again, right now, these are just witness statements testifying to what they saw to the court. It will certainly be up to the jury to determine guilt or innocence in this matter. We also want to point out that Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to these charges and is certainly afforded the presumption of innocence until something like that changes on the day that a verdict, should it change, that a verdict is rendered. So Alex just went to go get that bit of information off of the printer there.
Hold on.
Which means I won't
show you Justin
right now. A lot of buttons over here that I'm unfamiliar with, but so I won't be touching anything like that until she, of course, comes back.
Justin ain't getting on nobody's stand.
About weather, I was working
Justin going through.
on another story today. It's absolutely a stunning day outside today. So
And
if
he's
you're in
not
the
in the
area, New
condition
York
to
metro
be
area, you should be enjoying this day.
testifying
You
for
are outside,
anything and
I'm
anyone.
certainly hoping that you are having a good day and making the most out of that. Here's a little handout. Thank you, dear.
Justin got a lot
Please
going on.
understand,
Poor guy.
this will continue after
He got a lot
lunch.
going on.
Is Carrie Morgan, who's now estranged,
I doubt.
nonetheless testified that Combs apparently had, this is what she said earlier today, that Combs had beat her with a wooden coat hanger and gave her a concussion in 2018. And she apparently is testifying to the fact that she and Cassie Ventura are no longer friends, but nonetheless, she was still called as a witness to produce evidence, if you will, allegations that substantiate the prosecution's case. So that's what's going on right now. And again,
I wonder why her and Cassie are no longer friends. Would I be victim shaming if I asked that question? Because, you know, again, no one is perfect. People go through things. People take people through things. But, I mean, why come forward and back this person, but at the same time, we're not friends anymore. She's not my friend. Weird. Weird.
NTSB, National Transportation Board, is going to be giving an update with the very latest on the investigation into that. We can let you know, in case you didn't know, that this happened Saturday evening. From our understanding, Mexican training ship, if you will, a Navy ship, Navy vessel, depending upon the information that's coming out,
Ooh, girl, now she was with Alex first.
Like the ship was going in the wrong
That is
direction.
key.
You know, that's again information
Let me look,
that's
girl.
coming out.
No, I'm no.
And that's how it came into contact with the Brooklyn Bridge. A lot of questions. You know, if you've seen the video, you can see the mast. You know, the first one doesn't even go near, you know, escaping underneath it. So you have to wonder about dimensions, wonder about sizes, permissions. All of those are questions that the NTSB will be trying to provide answers and information to. We also know that 2 people were killed, you know, in this incident on board the ship, and some 19 others injured, some of them critically. So this was a very serious situation. Certainly, given we're talking about a bridge, a suspension structure, you know, over the East River there, with cars going across, and you know, just the magnitude of what could have happened. They also being taken into consideration as we wait for updates and hopefully get the chance to ask questions, you know, to the degree that investigators can provide those answers given the extent of what they know right now and the interviews being done. 1 second. So another question here. If Diddy is found guilty, what sentence would he face? Ooh, okay. That one, because these are involved sex trafficking, as well as kidnapping, you know, and I'll follow up with kidnapping because a lot of people say, well, how is kidnapping? I'll explain what that means legally. These are very serious charges, and certainly substantial jail time is among the penalties, if you will, that will be levied against him. Kidnapping is interesting. Kidnapping legally is determined when you hold someone against when you prevent someone from moving. You know, like let's say if someone's trying to get out of a door and you are not letting them leave or escape. Legally, that's recognized as kidnapping. So
I'm reading.
Is the likelihood of that charge?
Girl, I'm reading hard.
But again, he's pleaded not
So
guilty.
she has been testifying, Carrie, because there is. Hold on. Shut up, because you are boring the hell out of me.
Answer for you there.
Because here's part of the testimony, and let me pull it up. Let me pull it in. A wire hanger or wooden hanger. Okay, so the government calls Kelly Morgan. It says, "Where do you live?" Carrie answers, "Los Angeles." "Who is this?" A photo shown, and Carrie says, "Cassie Ventura." She's questioned, "What was your relationship?" Morgan says, we were best friends. Her boyfriend assaulted me. Do you see him here? Carrie says, yes, in the yellow gay sweater. They say, let the record reflect the witness had identified defendant Sean Diddler Combs. Why are you here? Carrie Morgan answers and says, I got subpoenaed. Mm. Where did you live with Cassie? Morgan responds and says, Manhattan. Did Cassie drink? Morgan responds, not much. Any drugs? None. What was she doing for work? Modeling. Then she recorded Me and You. So this is when she first met Cassie. So Cassie was like around like 18, or when they were first like besties, like around like 17, 18, something like that. Because Cassie was dating Diddy at 19. So this is prior. So she said, then she recorded Me and You. When did you learn they were dating? Morgan responds and says 2007. Did Mr. Combs ever assault you? Morgan responds, yes. He hit me with the wood coat hanger and choked me. Where did the hanger hit you? Behind my right ear. What did he express? What did he express concern about? Who Cassie was cheating on him with? Girl. Who did you speak to about it? Morgan responds, Ryan, Sean's old assistant. What did he do? Morgan says, nothing. I have not spoke with Cassie since. So this is given why they fell out. Because somebody just said in the chat because she let Diddy do that to her. So yeah, that's crazy work. Hi Tip West. So yeah, that's crazy work. So Cassie, she not friends with you no more because you allowed Diddy to do that's crazy. Cassie, that's your best friend, girl. Um, I cannot. Crazy. As of writing this article, there are more recent updates with Matthew Russell Lee concerning this Diddy trial testimony. Carrie Morgan described other alleged incidents in which Combs allegedly assaulted Cassie physically. Also, she claimed that he tried to break into an apartment where she was at. Then Morgan accused Puffy of allegedly assaulting her. She claims that he allegedly hit her with a hanger and choked her while inquiring about Cassie's alleged infidelity. Since that moment, the model claims she has not spoken with Ventura. However, she did say she spoke to Combs' alleged old assistant Ryan about those old alleged mess, but nothing came of it. Crazy. Crazy. Cassie, girl. So the only reason she's testifying for Cassie is because she was subpoenaed. That makes sense.
I believe this is day 10.
Like if I wasn't subpoenaed, I wouldn't be here.
We have there.
That's what it is.
Witness, we got that one. Yep. So our sheets right now don't have the exact total of the numbers on them, but we can tell you prosecution's on case efforting 6 weeks of its side before they then rest, and the defense will take over. Afforded the same amount of time, but they can certainly go as long as they need to, so long as the judge, is okay with that. And let's see, try to just keep my eye on the courthouse.
I wouldn't either sign outside. Yeah, me neither.
On there.
I wouldn't testify for her either.
Let's see.
I mean, what y'all go through is what y'all go through, but you basically okaying him putting his hands on me? Yeah, no. And she a whole female? I wouldn't want to be around Cassie either. Like, I'm not saying that she should have left him because of that. I would not have said that, but kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Okay, so we'll wrap this up for now. We will come back because we're gonna do a live on Netta, and then after we do a live on Netta, we'll come back and talk about this because there should be more information. It's just titillating, just sitting around all day, just like waiting. It's like I want to get it over with so that we could put the tea with old tea that we know, and stuff like that. Like it's like I want to get it over with. So yeah, But I will be coming back and doing a live on Netterd. And we have a coffee tonight at 6:30. I believe coffee tonight at 6:30. So I'm gonna try to get a couple lives in over here on YouTube before we go over live on coffee tonight. So we'll be back. I'm gonna do a live on Netterd, and then we'll come back with this because that'll give it time for the other stuff, yeah. So yeah. But I'll be right back. So stick around. Yeah, Giselle. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. You try. I love you guys. So I'll see y'all on the next live. Until then.